Hi everybody. Try to ignore the wiper noise in the car, so it might be a little bit louder today with the background noise because it's raining out. Today I want to talk directly to somebody out there that might be struggling with an addiction, right? There was a time in my life where I struggled, and a lot of people I knew struggled. And the message I want to give you today is that you can move past this. You really can. You can absolutely 100% move on with your life. And here's why. Most of what you think you know about addiction is wrong. And I can say that because our culture has been pushing this idea that it's a disease and that you're forever going to crave drugs. That narrative has been pushed now for nearly 8 decades, and it's untrue. Now, the reason you feel as if that's true is because you believe it, and sometimes when you get lost in drugs, if you have the narrative that you're hopeless and that you can't stop and that you're out of control, and then you feel that way, it reinforces this idea. And that's really problematic. So what we do at the Freedom Model is we completely deconstruct that narrative with the facts. And the facts are that you have a real high probability of moving past the problem, and you can move on and have a good life, and that you don't have to be in recovery. I say this in every one of my videos because people really believe that they're weak, that there's some sort of well within a human being of willpower, and that the well gets lower in the addict than in the normal person who can resist the cravings. This idea of resisting just means that you still want to do it. Cravings are a want. They don't happen to you. You're engaging in a desire of something that you want based on the value it provides you. And if you believe that drugs and alcohol, you need them to be happy, you'll crave them. Anytime we believe there's something we need for our happiness, we'll want that thing or person or activity. So much of addiction, quote-unquote, medicine, which is sort of strange idea in itself, but so much of that idea is predicated on the fact that you're weak, you're going to struggle, you're going to have to resist cravings that happen to you, that you're susceptible like you would be to a virus, and none of that is objectively true. None of it. And it can be subjectively true. You can believe it. Again, we go back to belief. So we need to deconstruct the beliefs with facts. What are the objective truths about people's habits? Number one is you drink and drug. Every time you do that, you do it because it's something you want in your life at that moment. Fact number two is the consequences and costs and trade-offs can be high and deep and cutting and problematic. And what happens is we tend to do a reverse analysis. We get high because we want to. Then bad things happen downstream of that experience. And then we do a reverse analysis and we say, I hate getting high. Well, you don't hate getting high. You don't hate the high part. You hate the consequences. And it's important not to do that reverse analysis. It's okay to want the high on the front end if you're willing to pay the costs, right? I mean, you have to be willing to do that. But to pay the costs and the consequences and then act as if you weren't responsible on the front end just isn't true. But the loss of control ideal, the idea that you're diseased, gives you an excuse to continue to get high without looking at the fact that you actually like it. And you need to be responsible for the fact that this is a choice you're making over and over again because you see the benefits on the front end of that. So, being responsible for our drug use or drinking can be scary at first. Because in our society, we have a baked-in excuse called the disease that we can always point to and say, see, I'm diseased. Why do you drink so much? I'm an alcoholic. I'm diseased. Why are you diseased? Because I drink too much. It's a circular argument. It's a neat little package. We call it the little black box you can put inside. Then there's always recovery, this charade that there are things you need to do to make sure you don't crave or distract yourself from craving. Wouldn't it be more advantageous and probably a better way of approaching this addiction thing to say, okay, I make choices. I do this activity because I value it at some level. At that time, I'm willing to pay the consequences. And at some point, I may see that this preference can change. That's the crucial part. If you're willing to say, yeah, my preference can change, then you're halfway there. You have to believe that there's more to life than the myopic life of the addict, quote unquote. I call it a substance user because it's a choice. I don't like the addict label. I think it's a terrible label. Or an alcoholic. I use those terms just because it's easy, because they're terms we use. But the truth is, you're a substance user. That's choice. Addict and alcoholic implies that you're somehow diseased and out of control, which you're not. You're not. So, if you want to learn how to deconstruct this nightmare you've been living and get out from under it and move on with your life without having to go to meetings, without recovery, without therapy, without any of those things when it concerns addiction, if you want to do that, and believe it or not, you can change your preference easily once you know the facts, if that's something that you will want to do. If you want to learn how to do that, then you need to read the Freedom Model, where we deconstruct the whole idea of being powerless, and we show you how to move past this for good. And if you need more help, what you do is you call us. You can talk to me directly at 888-424-2626, or you can come to our retreat if you need to sort of stop the chaos in your life for a couple of weeks, a few weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it might be. At our retreat, you can continue to work if you can work online with your career. We don't take your cell phone away or any of that nonsense. There's no reason to treat you like you're in prison if you're getting help. I never understood that idea. So you can get the help you need. You can also do private instruction with us, where we teach it via Zoom and have classes online. So there's a whole variety of ways you can learn this model, and it's very affordable, and you can get past this. I didn't want this to sound like an ad. It's necessary for people to know that there's various ways to learn this model, because sometimes people get overwhelmed with the idea that they've been believing in myths, maybe for their entire lives, and it's rendered them in incredibly bad shape. So you can get out from under this. You can move on. You can live a wonderful life without drugs and alcohol, or if you want to moderate, that's obviously an option as well. And you can move on. So, all right, I hope you have a good day. Take care. Bye.